again filling the role there in support. For the most part, this is the same super hot crew that we've been seeing. And interestingly, they've been practicing and playing a little bit harder than MWM. You mentioned the Charu point. Charu was actually on vacation. It was the first time that MWM have taken a bit of an extended break after the heavy loss at the promotion tournament, and we'll have to see if their history can help them out.
So let's get into picks and bans. If you've been watching the OGN, these bans are completely different. You cannot take anything. We are on 3.15. Rengar is disabled, and Yasuo is enabled. However, look at these bans. We're already seeing Leona standard ban, Cassidy almost a standard ban, but you can see Katarina being taken away from Charu. Charu didn't get a chance to play that. It was banned against him the entire promo series before against Meteor Makers, but Tryndamere banned. Check that out against Mima.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to do that. Interestingly, Cubon actually played Tryndamere as well during the promotion tournament. Didn't work out quite as well for him. But the one thing I do want to highlight here, that Evelyn is still available for Makata if he wants to build his tanky Evelyn, which he got for in the promotion tournament. And for Impaler, I'm expecting a Vi. When Impaler played Vi against SK Gaming, he won games 1 and 2. SK wisened up that Vi was his strongest champion, banned it against him, and Impaler did not have the level of impact that he did in the previous games. He defaulted to Elise, but I definitely think they're going to go for this fight. If not now, later in picks and bans.
Well, Mundo's been hovered over. Shyvana was locked in. No surprise there. Will we see a possible Jax against it? Mundo currently being hovered over. Renekton, another chance there. Renekton, of course, he's only going to get up to level 9. We've seen this. We've talked about it so often as well over the last few days, but it is going to be Dr. Mundo being locked in there. We're just waiting for the jungler. And as you mentioned, Impaler Vi, it was such a critical game as well at that game. And honestly, for me, it was all about Nif in them matches. It was SK Gaming versus Super Hot Crew. If you can cast your minds back, just around about a month's time now, I think it was. We're about a month away from that. And of course, okay. This could be a Jungle Gragas. Jungle Gragas has risen to prominence lately.
Yeah, the Grungle is very...
The Grungle. I see what you did there. Wow.
I can't claim ownership.
Strong. Okay.
I can't claim ownership. That actually comes from Doa over in OGN.
All right.
And, when it was done by... I can't recall right now. But nevertheless, the Gragas jungle is very powerful. It was banned out permanently against Hercubot, who played for NIP at the promotion qualifiers. And the reason it's so strong, he's got very good wave clear, and his ganks are immensely powerful. We are playing on 3.15, so he's even going to be able to farm up a little bit more efficiently if he goes for the AP jungle item. And Grungle is no longer a thing because, as we talked about, it is going to be the Vi for Impaler. It is his strongest champion, and he's able to decimate when he does play her.
And I am very happy to see Mercato going to Elise this time because he played Evelyn throughout the promotion, and it just wasn't great.
3 times on Eve, he built a tanky and went Spirit of the Ancient Golem, and I just don't think it was his champion. I don't think he played it aggressively enough, and it didn't work out. The Annie for Libic is one that he played twice. In the 4 games they played, he played only Annie and Thresh. And I think I prefer him on Annie with this composition as well. You've got single pick power from Elise. Shyvana's got good AoE effects, as does Annie. So it's a good combination. And I think MWM are having a fairly safe, well-rounded composition right now.
And for Meteor Makers, this is an interesting one because let me take you back. Charu had been replaced in his team. He is now back. He was actually brought back of holiday, if my information is correct, to play in this promotion tournament. This is how serious this LCS is for these guys. Of course, it is basically their living, their livelihoods, getting into the League of Legends Championship Series, getting a job back to play a game you love. So, I mean, well, why not? But we do see the picks. It is going to be Jinx, Annie alongside it. That's going to be Orianna in the mid lane for Charu. We'll see whether he picks up the teleport or not. But it's looking like Thresh is going to be the final pickup, of course. That's going to be Mixer up alongside Mr. Rales, who is going to be on Lucian. So both very strong teams. And actually, I'm quite excited now. Now this is a best of 3. Now that we're getting straight into it, I really don't know who could win out of these two.
These were arguably the 2 teams that had the potential to do very well in this qualifier. NIP had actually substituted out Hercubot for another jungler, Fury 3, who's actually an AD carry main. So that, affects your synergy a lot. MOM, we've talked about it. The history goes back 2.5 years, I believe. They're one of the longest standing teams without making roster substitutions and swaps. And Super Hot Crew were the best performing team at the Spring Promotion Tournament who didn't make it through. They pushed SK all the way to the limit, and this is now their second shot at making it into the League of Legends Championship Series, and that roster is locked in, so Thresh is there as well.
So what are we expecting to see from these 2 lineups? Of course, we can see a lot of AE wave clear from both teams effectively. They can shove the lanes. Jinx can really push hard. Lucian can push hard. Are they going to go for those 2v1s? The fact that we got Shyvana and Mundo in there?
It's definitely a possibility, and I think that you could go either way. If Cubone wants to actually challenge Dr. Mundo, a Blade of the Ruined King Shyvana can make Dr. Mundo's life a living hell as the game progresses during the laning phase. So MOM may even want to go for the straight-up heads-to-head, as long as Thresh doesn't let good hooks onto that Jinx Annie, and if Jinx and Annie are playing aggressive, they can actually take an advantage in the 2v2. So there's pros and cons for both, but I'm expecting the mid-game dragon fights to go in favor of Super Hot Crew because of that teleport Dr. Mundo. We've seen Lupa running it earlier this week for Samsung Ozone during their semi-finals, and every time he teleported with that Mundo, there was kills that led to dragons, and that's what I'm expecting from Mima in this match.
So we are about to get things underway, hopefully, as the game goes in. So just a quick reminder for you guys. This is a best of 3. The winner will literally take all. They will be in the League of Legends Championship Series, which starts in just a couple of days' time on Tuesday, the 14th. Of course, that will be Super Week, getting straight into kicking things off with Fnatic versus Gambit. These guys will literally have their lives change in the next few days. So one of these teams will have to jump on a plane the moment this finishes and get their butts to Cologne.
Yeah, and I'm really happy you mentioned that. We are, in fact, playing online, ladies and gentlemen. So this game is being played from the comfort of their homes. All of the players have been given extensive documentation for protection from DDoS, so we're not expecting problems. I may have just jinxed us all. And as you said, it is for a spot in the LCS. This is the final position will be between Meet Your Makers or the Super Hot Crew. We are, of course, just waiting for Mr. Rolls to connect, and once he does, we'll be in the,
you jinxed us.
in the game. I think this is my fault. I think it's all on me.
You started things off, and of course, this is, as you may have noticed, we're not on camera. This is straight bare bones. We're getting these games done, rolling them out, as it were, trying to get things done as quickly as possible. Of course, Ninjas in Pajamas were due to participate. They are out of the tournament, disqualified due to not having the client ready on time.
Yep. Not connecting at the same time.
Plenty of time. And just looking at the social media, there's a lot of buzz going on about that one. And no surprise, because obviously they were, I wouldn't say clear favourites, but they were definitely favourites coming into this one.
It's the equivalent of taking your race car off the trailer at a track and not having it filled with gas as the green light goes.
Yeah, it's like,
that's exactly what happened. Go,
making it a Robin Reliant.
Couldn't do it. Even more importantly for this one, and I apologize in advance, I am theoretically driving the spectator camera for this.
Put yourself out
there's
there.
no pressure at the moment, but just so you know, if kills are missed, it is because D-Man didn't tell me where to look.
Oh,
this is the way it works. This is the way it works.
So if I'm not saying it, you're
correct.
not going there.
You have to call it out and let me know where I should be looking.
Right.
Because there's a lot to think about when you're going to move the mouse and talk at the same time.
That is very true. I used to do it myself for a good year and a half of League of Legends. Of course, the Dignitas Moscow 5 being the most scariest game I've ever had to camera and broadcast at the same time. That was, of course, back in 2011 now. It feels so long ago. We're in 2014 of League of Legends. Seasons are rolling on. 2014 season will be getting underway on Tuesday. It's going to be 6 days of League of Legends action. Of course, the 3 days of Super Week in Europe and 3 days in North America. Right now, we are going to have a pause. I'm absolutely expecting that because obviously he's just rejoined. Well, you can see it on your screens. We are about to unpause. We are underway, ladies and gentlemen. We hope. Let's have a pause again in a second for Meet Your Makers versus the Super Hot Crew. This is the League of Legends Championship Series European Spring Promotion. It says round robin, but we all know it's just a best of 3 now because round robin is out of the window. We are straight into a knockout tournament. The winner takes all. Who will win 2 of these games? Well, we'll find out in the next few hours because right now it is the blue team of Meet Your Makers. Of course, they managed to win the coin toss, I believe it was, that they decided this, and Super Hot Crew starting out as the red team.
We'll have to see how well they start off. As it pertains, a very defensive start from Super Hot Crew. They're doing that 5-man split, covering each and every entrance into their side of the jungle. And at this point in time, MYM, they have definitely grouped themselves up, waiting to set up an invade.
Yeah, and Meet Your Makers, of course, they used to be known as that strong level 1 team. They always used to do the invades. And they actually stopped. They started to question themselves as they went into the summer LCS. They started off so strong at DreamHack. I think they had that 4-1 start. The only team they lost to was Alternate, who themselves went on a 5-0. They're, of course, known as Millennium as we go into the LCS, but Meet Your Makers I believe that was one of their strengths. They used to go into the jungle, they used to go in strong and try and steal away one of those buffs.
Now we'll see if they can pull this one off. One of the things they were also famous for was Charu's teleport, which he did not run once during the Spring Promotion Tournament, has opted not to take it here either, decided for the exhaust. And that is a brilliant pickup because Vi is going to be diving onto him, Dr. Mundo is going to be running amok, and this ward is just going to reveal every single member. They're even cheeky enough to actually pick up the ward kill, but I think now the Gambit is taken away. Look at the positioning now from the rest of Super Hot Crew. They are all relocating themselves. Maybe they want to challenge for this one. We'll have to see.
Didn't quite get in time, didn't get the hit, but they are going to go for the blue buff. They've invested so much time, they have to go for this one.
They're going to be a little bit careful though. It doesn't look like Super Hot Crew are going to challenge. We're going to keep an eye on Moops' barrel, whether or not he's actually going to be able to land the steal. Not going to secure it. A good smite there from Makata, steals the blue. It may end up just being a trade, as Impaler should be able to solo this one without too much trouble.
It does, of course, mean, like you say, Impaler has just counted it, gone to the top, but Kubon's been up that top lane the whole time. He's managed to get himself a little advantage over Mima. Looking down this bottom lane, you can see Mixer taking some damage already. It's going to be an explosive lane, this one, I feel, because both AD carries have got a lot of range, a lot of poke, and of course you can see Libic and Mixer already looking to try and have a go at each other.
Yeah, Libic and Makla have to be very careful. If they get caught by a hook from Mixer, the early damage burst from Lucian, that's the hook!
There's the hook, he goes straight in, pots the flay, has to force the flash out, the chomper's going down, that's going to catch out Mixer as well, but the aggression on Libic will be first blood. It's Mr. Rales who finally got in the game and gets himself a kill. They
cannot allow themselves to get caught like that. Libic is too squishy as Annie in this early game, even with that door and shield. This is 3.15, and the burst from Lucian, even though it's taken a small hit, is still very, very high. And if Mixer and Mr. Ross can keep doing that, it's just going to be a rinse and repeat, and they can get themselves an early lead.
Absolutely fantastic start. Super Hot Crew, pressure on, and I gotta importantly stress this. Meet Your Makers are a team that do not handle pressure on them early. If they start losing the towers, start losing the lanes, it's very rare that they come back from it.
Well, we'll see how it works out for them. Makata's going on Moops.
Well, he just dashes away from that cocoon. Makata, of course, with that double buff. Mixer just warding out that river, throws out the hook, not gonna happen. Actually, he did ward it out. He just had a wander up there, it felt, because the ward has been cleared out already, it seems.
Yeah, they had no idea where Makata was up until that gank. So at the moment Makata showed himself in the mid lane, Mixer immediately started trending back down, just going back into lane, and it was basically playing a human ward, making sure that he gets as much information as possible. And in this early stage, the CS numbers are still sitting very, very close. But I think one of the matchups that I'm interested to see how it plays out is this Cubon versus Mima, Shyvana versus Dr. Mundo. Depending on how Cubon itemizes, depends on how this lane is going to play out. If he does go for that sort of aggressive Blade of the Ruined King, he can actually beat Dr. Mundo in lane and can become a fairly strong split pusher with all that additional attack speed.
And with axes being thrown out like that, or choppers, whatever you'd like to come from Mima, I don't think Cubon needs to be too worried, because that was miles off the mark. Of course, we do see a little gank down this bottom lane. Impaler just showing his presence. It's not enough to worry them too much, so they back away from that one. We can see, of course, Makata trying to counter that, heading towards the top lane, and see if he can maybe get something started on Mima.
Well, we'll have to see. He does have that cocoon available, and missed it in the last time round. Moops was able to body slam away. And I think Makata just going to hang out at the moment. He is within experience range, so going to be able to leech some of that. He has hit level 4. And I think Mima's aware of this. He's playing very, very defensive. He's just relying on those effective cleavers to last hit, and I think it's just going to be wasted time for Makata as he realizes that and backs away.
For anyone listening, that is just a cue. Infected cleavers. That is the word, of course. I'm going to miss Trevor when he's not here, I tell you. I get to learn so much from the names, the spell names at least, let's put it that way, of course. As I mentioned before, this is the 3.15 patch, so anything you guys at home are playing is live right now. We are playing exactly what you would be seeing at home. If you guys are playing games while watching this, of course, and we always welcome that, because I like to do that myself.
The one thing I would like to highlight as well is that, as it is 3.15, Yasuo is available. He wasn't picked or banned in this matchup, and we have been seeing a lot of the pro teams actually spamming him a lot in solo queue. So I'd like to see if he's going to feature in the series. It is a best of 3, and I don't know if anybody from Super Hot Crew or MYM have been practicing him, but I am expecting him to feature next week during our regular season LCS games.
Yeah, we'll see how that develops. Of course, that'll be starting on Tuesday. One of these teams will be in that. The third match of the day up against Roccat, who formerly are KMT, if you had seen them qualifying through. Another Polish team. Could we have an all-Polish matchup right there? If Meteor Makers get themselves in there, we certainly will. And I think Poland won't know which way to go when that happens, because right now they are cheering on Meteor Makers to get in here. Super Hot Crew, though, they proved themselves very much a team to beat up against SK Gaming earlier on. They only really the experience of Candy Panda and Nif were able to turn that game around.
Yeah, that is for sure. And we'll have to see how well they can react to this one. A very good, well-timed ward from Makla is going to allow them to back away. And of course, there's no Assault and Battery, no ultimate there from Impaler's Vi, so he's not going to be able to jump on anybody and lock them down. The one thing that Libic is doing a little bit smarter this time around, he's sitting with his passive stun available on Annie. So what that means is if Mixer and Mr. Rolls want to go in at all, they have to deal with that stun. They're well aware that the CC is available, and it just dissuades you from going very aggressive, dissuades you from landing the death sentence and following up, because you're going to get instantly locked in place.
Well, so far the lanes are actually starting to slowly grinding towards Meteor Maker's favor. You can see, of course, the gold is just a couple of 100 gold difference. There was that first blood that came down, but look at the CS between them. It's about a 10 CS lead in every single lane. It's starting to slowly claw an advantage.
I think this is a situation that plays into MYM's favor. Game 1 of the series, dealing with the pressure, having gone through promotion, a couple times already, having played together on very big stages multiple times in their very storied history. Their nerves aren't necessarily going to be as on edge. And I think Super Hot Crew, the first blood definitely takes the edge off, but I still think they need to just settle down, breathe, maybe get some of that adrenaline out of their system, and then make sure they're landing all those last hits and making the plays they need to. Impaler, he's tried to gank multiple times, but he hasn't necessarily made it work for him.
Did we just see... Did Shyvana go around and get the red buff? I just wanted to see whether she did or not. Did not. Went round towards it. Didn't actually pick it up, though. Kubon, who has started to develop a lead over Mima in that top lane, red buff wasn't available, I believe, because I think Impaler already has it on. No, it's just gone there right now. Just respawn. So obviously went looking for it. So already starting to make those plays. Kubon trying to look for some aggression, realizing he's pushing the lane pretty heavily. You can see already, just wiped out that wave, shoved it straight on towards Mima.
Whenever you play a Shyvana, especially in the early game, before 10 or 12 minutes, in a 1v1 matchup, you've got very, very good wave clear. Even though Dr. Mundo does have that Burning Agony, his own W, that's fairly good for lowering the wave. It's not as fast. I'm trying to keep you up, trying to keep you up to date.
I'm just watching the standoff in the middle there.
It's a very slow start.
Moops and Sharu just staring at each other. Moops just tanking out that one single minion, looking at each other like, no, I'm not being baited into hitting that one minion. I'm just going to stand at range.
Moops is falling behind. I mean, Moops in the mid lane, he's 10 CS down. He doesn't have a very big minion wave in front of him, and I think he's just playing very, very passively. It's better to lose a little bit of CS and not give up any kills than it is to get caught out, get shut down, and give your opponent an early advantage. And I'm actually quite surprised with that first blood that we've seen from Mr. Rolls and Mixer that they haven't gone more aggressive earlier. They had that early advantage, but it hasn't been converted to anything. Neither AD carry's gone back to spend the money. Neither of them has actually earned or picked up any aggressive statistics. It's a lot of money.
There's the ward place, of course, from Super Hot Crew. They had it in the jungle. They saw Makata going past. They know that he's on the blue buff. I'm wondering whether Impaler's now going to go aggressive down this bottom lane, whether he's going to come towards there. They know that the jungler is not there. They know they've got a 3-on-2 advantage. And actually, it looks like they may transition into a dragon instead.
So they've got the numbers advantage, and they have the teleport advantage as well. So if a fight were to break out, Mima would be able to join. Now, I don't know if we're going to see Makla being cheeky with a Super Mega Death Rocket, and doesn't look like it. And Tibbers is down.
Tibbers down there. Mega Death Rocket did come down. That's going to be one kill. Oh, he flashed away. Got hooked straight in by the death sentence from Mixer, and that will be Super Hot Crew cleaning up, and they got the dragon as well. So the gold all went their way.
Got the dragon. The fight went 1-for-1. They traded a jungler for support. And I think that, Makla tried to steal it with his ultimate. Didn't necessarily work out. And Libic just going a touch too early. The Tibbers was well placed, but there was nothing else to follow it up. You need the shockwave. You need Shyvana diving in, or even Elise in that situation. And unfortunately for MYM, they now fall about 1,000 gold behind, and they give another kill away. This time to Moops' Gragas.
And that kill, of course, means that Mr. Ralas has completed and picked up the Bloodthirster going down to that bottom lane. We see what Makler goes for. He's making his first trip back as well. Had got himself a little CS advantage, but of course the kill and assist will certainly give the gold in the way of Mr. Rallas. And you can see, well, he's at 3k, so he's going to go straight and buy.
Almost a
quite get
Bloodthirster.
the Bloodthirster.
Almost a Bloodthirster. So that little bit of a CS advantage is keeping him close. And I think he's opted to just pick up a little bit of wards there. He's got some potions in his back pocket. And we also see that with these first backs, both supports have picked themselves up that sweeping lens, moved away from the warding trinket, and going to start denying vision from their opponents. Remember that this is 3.15. In case you need a quick refresher, the cooldown on that sweeping lens has been dropped by a full minute at rank 1, and then 30 seconds at ranks 2 and 3. So it just allows you to sweep more wards more often. And of course, it does mean we tend to see a little bit more pink games in 3.15.
Kubon, you can see he's gone with that build toward a Cutlass, so may well be going for that Blade of the Rune King early on. Meanwhile, Mima playing in towards the... I'm having a brain fart. It's the
Spirit Visage.
Spirit Visage.
Sorry, I was looking all over and I'm like, who is Mima? Where is Mima? Camera, talking, and questions.
Trying to do so much at once. Something like Spectral Cloud.
That
He's
was
got the Kindle
information
gem.
overload. But look
I
at
know
this.
what this is.
Impaler's snuck in from behind. He does have Assault and Battery available. Was thinking about going in. And remember, it's guaranteed CC. Tibbers is there as well. So as long as Super Hot Crew are in sync and make this work, they can get a kill. Same is happening in the top, though.
He's going to go around. I think it's going to be Makler. No, Libic will be the target. Does manage to get the Assault Battery. He does get Tibbers down, but it's a little too late. Is it? No! The tower damage comes in and Impaler gets away. The minions are hitting him, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He manages to get away from that one. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Mima is getting caught. Shockwave pulls in. Mixer's going to go down. It's a straight trade 1-for-1. And the tower on the top lane is Meteor Makers coming out on top.
Yeah, Meteor Makers with a very good play overall. They lost a member of their team, but they do manage to secure themselves a tower in the top lane. And it's not over yet as they continue to focus down the lane. The attack damage that Cubon's getting allows him to kill those minions even quicker. And the presence of Makate makes Mima's defensive play very, very difficult to read. He could have teleported bottom, but decided against it. And instead, he's going to defend the top lane.
And meanwhile, in the mid lane, you can see there are actually 3 members all possibly going to try and close in here. We do have Kubon and Makata heading in towards him. Libic has made himself in towards that mid lane as well. So we'll see if they try and go for a gank on Moops. They've gone a little bit too early here. Moops himself was trying to get the wards down. He's going to walk away from that one, no problem at all.
Yeah, talking about wards, the vision here from Super Hot Crew is significantly superior to that of Meteor Makers. They've got a lot more vision in the river and around the entrances to the map. MOM has got very good red buff coverage from the side of Super Hot Crew. So as this buff is now spawned, in theory, MOM could have challenged for it, but they've all decided to back away. So it does look like Impaler should be able to pick this one up mostly uncontested.
Well, you say that, Libic comes along and throws 2 big wards down that bottom lane. It's like, oh, I hear what you're saying, Trevor, and I'm going to clear them, fix this problem straight away. So Libic making sure he gets that covered off, of course. Metaphorically speaking, they can't actually hear what we're saying because there is a rather large delay on this stream. Meanwhile, though, Libic getting caught out down the bottom. There's going to be the box. That will be a death once again. He's 1-for-1 now. He's being picked on. What a great death sentence on towards Matt. This one out. You can see the culling coming straight out there. Is it going to be enough? Barrier being used. Can't quite tank it back. Meanwhile, Moops is going to get aggressed upon. At least has to repel away from that one. And it's Super Hot Crew with the kill.
Yeah, at least Makata just got bursted out there as he ran into Moops, and Moops unloaded a full combo. But Mima, his first teleport to the game, as I flick to him, he teleports away and manages to secure some great kills and a lot of tower damage in this bottom lane. Mr. Ralls and Mixer can stick around, secure the tower, even it up 1-to-1, and then they can make their way back to push other lanes, maybe to get even more towers or objectives. Very good play from Super Hot Crew, and it's something that we've seen them doing multiple times. Oh, wrong button. That's the one I want. Multiple times throughout the Spring Promotion qualifier. Their decision-making and their team cohesion is really what stood out against SK, but it was all led by Impaler's Vi in the mid-game.
So 2,000 gold lead, 5-2 up in kills, all square, 1 apiece in the towers, the top and the bottom towers going down. And will we see some lane shuffling? We do see Vi already just going straight back to that blue. That means Gragas is going to be getting that one. That would be Moops for Super Hot Crew. Meanwhile, blue buff you can see is also up. Charu heading that way. He's going to be picking that up. Top laners actually staying in the top, and duo lanes staying down the bottom. So I think we're going to see Meteor Makers trying to put pressure on, but they may be running headlong into Impaler.
I think what Super Hot Crew could have been doing this time around was pushing the top lane tower. I think if they'd stuck their duo up there, it could have allowed them to do it. Instead, though, they want to go for the gank. We'll keep our eyes on Impala as Assault and Battery is available, and Makla's going down.
Makler getting caught out there. A dash, a dead sentence, a hook pulled in, and Impala didn't even need to use Assault and Battery there. That was as clean a kill as you can get.
It was just super easy. They completely caught Makler out of position, zoned him out, and then once he was zoned, there was nothing he could do about it. So Super Hot Crew give themselves their 6th kill of the game, and it was just before Dragon came up. So now they're clearing out the wards, setting up the Ring of Vision, and they're going to have the numbers advantage when they start this Dragon off, as you can see. Keep an eye on the Super Mega Death Rocket as Makler has respawned and it's available. It could be used in this fight.
Meteor Maker's ready to try and counter this one. They have good vision. They have everything ready to go, but the question is, will they do it? There's the repel, he comes in. It's going to be too late though. Impala already locking that one up. Makata's going to get caught out. So Dragon and a kill for the Super Hot Crew.
And the Shockwave hit nobody. The Shockwave didn't hit a single target there. Charu was trying to be very cheeky and hide over the wall, just using the ball for presence, and it wasn't in range of anybody from the Super Hot Crew, and that's allowed them to extend that gold lead and now have a massive numbers advantage. Mix is coming in from behind, he's caught Kuban!
Great hook straight in there, Kuban in trouble. He tries to get away, but he gets pulled straight back in immediately. Brilliant stuff from Super Hot Crew, and it was Impala landing that Assault Battery, the culling coming out, that's not going to find his target. It doesn't matter, it's the turret they want to go for. Where are you going, Trevor? I don't know. You are making the cameramen's job at League of Legends Championship Series very good right now because they know they have no threat from you.
They are fantastic, and there's a reason I talk for a living and don't drive the camera, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about that one. But yes, another great play. More kills on the board for Super Hot Crew, and it's just a positional advantage. They had the numbers, they got a kill, they converted the kill to the tower, and there was absolutely nothing MYM could have done about that. I think MYM should have made the decision to back away, move away from the tower, give it up, and not give even more kills. You've got Mr. Rolls, 6-0-2. He's picked himself up a sweeping lens to return to lane because I think the next few minutes, Super Hot Crew are just going to be spending all of their time in MYM's jungle and on MYM's side of the map.
He's already close to being a full Trinity Force ahead of Makler. That's pretty worrying already. He's already, you can see it's a 2,000, almost a 2,000 gold lead, 1,500 gold so far. But you can see he's just wiping out their minion waves, no problem. Mr. Alice chunking out that gold, and he's going to be a serious problem for them to deal with. He's already just managed to zone them out completely. 5,000 now the gold lead for the Super Hot Crew. Great start for them, and I talked about it at the beginning. Meteor Makers, they really struggle to come from behind. If they do get those towers early on, they start pushing the vision, it works so well for them. But they're a team that just doesn't come back. We're hoping they managed to figure something out in the break.
This is a ticking time bomb right now. You know, Meteor Makers, they need to make sure that they don't, they need to stop hemorrhaging gold and stop hemorrhaging kills, and they have to slow things down. Keep this gap at 5,000 for the next 5 or 10 minutes when it becomes significantly less. Right now it's a big amount, but at 25 and 30 minutes, it's less impactful, and they'll have the power to win a team fight. But if they keep making bad dragon calls, and very, very importantly, if they keep giving up dragons uncontested, that is how they're going to lose this game. So we'll see how this next dragon turns out as it does respawn, probably in the next 3.5, 4 minutes time. And that's the time when MYM has to make a move, have to have better vision, and make some plays. Right now, Super Hot Crew, once again, uncontested tower. They're grouping up. They're going to have a 3-man, and this should be their 3rd tower of the game.
Meanwhile, Mima, yeah, say chunking down that tower. They are setting up. They're going to come around. Kuban tried to set himself up, but Assault and Battery says no. Explosive Cask is available. If he just needs to knock him back, will he use it to explode him? No, Impala's going to pick up the kill anyway.
They're going to be able to trade towers. Mix has gone in.
Flash box straight down. The culling coming out on towards Makata, doing a heck of a lot of damage. Has to repel from the death sentence coming out there, and again, well, Super Hot Crew defend that tower successfully. They take themselves the tower in the top. It's 3-1 now. All going Super Hot Crew's favor.
Yeah, that's for sure. Right now, it's going to at least be evened up a tiny bit for Meteor Makers. It's not over yet. Libic's in trouble.
Well, you see, he's...
Mr.
Raleigh got an aggressive teleport comes in. He's going to be popping that ultimate. He's already used it. He's got flash available if he needs to close the gap. Oh, Libic catches that chopper straight to the face. Easy pickup for Mr. Raleigh. Flash from Mima. No, straight into a cocoon. And that's going to put an end to that.
So that's going to give an assist to Mima at the very least. Not necessarily the best trade for your teleport, but it does allow them to get yet another kill onto Mr. Riles. I think he should have enough gold now to finish up that Trinity Force and really, really start making Meteor Maker's life difficult, as if a 7-0-2 wasn't difficult enough as it is. And that's exactly what we said Meteor Makers can't afford to do.
But look at the build items. Mixer, he's gone for the Warden's Mail. He's going full tank support. I mean, that means that as the Thresh player, he's planning on throwing himself right in there.
There's a beautiful irony in his itemization right now, because Libic himself used to build Warden's Mail onto Randian's and Frozen Heart during the summer split. It's something we've seen him do when Meteor Makers was ahead. A few times they were ahead. And this time round, with Mixer being in such a strong position at that 0, 1, and 9, he's going to get very beefy. All of the physical damage of that, a Shyvana and Jinx is going to be mitigated by the high armor count, and it's just going to allow him to get away with cheeky engages. He can pick fight after fight after fight, and all of that durability is going to allow him to get away with not dying.
Meanwhile, Warmog's being picked up by Mima. If I can get my words out right, in that top lane, he's starting to become a scary, scary beast, I believe it is. Dr. Mundo. Mundo will be going where he pleases, of course. Kuban didn't go for that tanky start, tanky approach. Will be going for the Spirit Visage shortly, but as it is right now, he went for what he needed. He went for what he needed to win the lane, but lane phase is over. Lane phase is done with, and Kuban, he's not got that tanky presence to dive in yet.
So what it's going to come down to with these two different builds, Mima's going to be basically unkillable. There's no percentage HP damage on the side of Meteor Makers right now. The Morellonomicon will help as, when, and if Mima gets below 40% HP, where his healing will be reduced. But if you're spending a lot of time focusing Dr. Mundo down, then Impaler, Moops, and Mr. Rolls will clean you up. So there's difficult decisions for MYM, and they need to make sure they catch out Super Hot Crew around a corner and blindly if they want to win a big team fight.
Well, that Dragon will be up in 10 seconds time, and that is what these teams are beginning to maneuver for. You can see a lot of wards being thrown down there, a lot of checking out, managed to remove those wards, of course, because you can see that now, actually, looking at it, Mr. Rales has changed his trinket.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. He's had it for a little while, in fact, and it's mostly just because of how far ahead Super Hot Crew are. Meteor Makers, I think, realizing how far they are behind and not having vision, they didn't even challenge for that Dragon. And remember, that Dragon gets more valuable the higher the average level of the game. So they cannot afford to keep doing this. Meteor Makers needs more vision, needs more wards, and they need to make, some sort of challenges. Otherwise, we're just going to see a slow grind, much like how KMT, now Roccat, actually defeated the Ninjas in Pajamas. Slow, passive, wait till 35 minutes on the clock, and then just finish the game. As Kuban, almost caught out.
Mima almost went in there, but again, like you say, they're still just biding their time here. Looking down the top and the bottom lane. Neither really lane are pushing each other. Nobody's gone up there to clean it out. They're just sieging out this middle turret. Super Hot Crew feeling they are strong enough right now to bully them away. Shockwave comes out, but it's Mr. Rales, the only person they catch. It does take him pretty low, but it's enough that he can just walk away from that one. The mobility that he has. No boots, by the way, for Mr. Rales yet still. He's gone for that Trinity Force Bloodthirster. Doesn't need it. Instead, Libic they were going to go for.
So he does have his Berserker's Greaves, luckily, but they're hidden there between a door and shield and a longsword. The main thing is, even with all the damage he just took, from the Wraith camp alone, he's already up to 2/3 HP, 3/4 HP. So there you go, max HP. Those ultimates chained together, the Shockwave as well as the Super Mega Death Rocket, felt like a little bit of desperation. I don't know if they were just feeling out how much damage they have. Impaler's hanging around the side. They will tower dive this. Impaler's the man we're going to keep our eyes on, because he can just lock somebody down, and that'll be a kill for the Super Hot Crew if they go in.
The culling being used to force them away. Barrel landing nicely. Makler took half his hit points off there, and they're just beating down that turret. Mr. Rales tanking it out a little bit there. That will be the inner turret going down, and they're going to continue pushing through. Explosive cast being used. That just forces Libic away, and that's going to be the end of the Super Hot Crew siege, but it's enough. They're done. It's 4-2 in turrets.
The one thing that was playing into Meteor Maker's favor is that they had very, very big waves pushing against them both in the top and bottom lanes. So it does mean that Super Hot Crew are unable to stick around, unable to continue their offensive. Recalling, going to deal with these waves, spend a lot of the money that they've just earned, and then once again start the siege. If you know your opponent's Shockwave and Mega Death Rocket are down, if their ultimates are not available, you can win that team fight, and that's all Super Hot Crew are going to wait for.
So those two waves being chunked straight down. Mr. Rales wiping that one out. You can see now 230 CS just close. Oh, this is desperation. Desperation Baron move.
Yeah, definitely the case. Mima's hanging around. Impaler's going to do the best he can to close the gap. It is dropping very, very quickly. They're going to get Baron.
They're going to get the Baron. Will they be able to clean it up, though? Mima already popping his ultimate. He's going to try and come around. He's trying to separate someone. Kuban's the one they attacked and targeting there. A great shockwave catching through him, but they're just not the damage to follow it up. Mima stood in between the whole team. Assault Battery catching through him. Goes on towards Charu. A lot of damage still coming back out, though. Makler managing to pick up one. That's going to be the Impaler going down. Explosive Cast comes around the back side of them. But look in the back there. Mr. Raleigh is just tanking through the lot of them, getting that lifesteal going. And that is a 3-4-1 fight exchange there. Minion Makers, even with the Baron, can't fight.
Man of the fight is Moops, coming in a little bit late there, using that explosive cast to knock all the members of Minion Makers back into the team of Super Hot Crew. And we talked about how important that tankiness of Mixer was going to be. He gets out of that fight with a couple hundred hit points, stuck around for such an immense amount of time, and MYM, they didn't have the damage to kill Super Hot Crew as quickly as they killed Baron, because I was surprised at how quickly they took that objective down. And unfortunately for them, it just wasn't enough to help them win that team fight. And now they've closed the gold gap a little bit, but it still feels like they're very, very, very far behind.
Well, it is 9,000 gold. Some might argue that is quite a distance when it is only a 45k to 36k. Of course, the Wit being picked up by Charu, or White, whatever we want to call it. Wit, White, it's a spectral to me, that's what it is, a Wraith. I'm from the old school of
there are too many Wraiths.
D&D.
The Wraith camp, can I actually drive? This is the Wraith camp. Let's drive over here, and this is the White camp. I never get to do that.
Exactly the same thing. I mean, I know it kind of means the same thing as well. It's just the whole history thing.
Makler could get popped. If Makler had hung around, Moops has enough damage that he could just insta-give him. But wisely, this time around, Makler's going to back away. Not going to get caught out. Moops is going to allow himself just to once again shove the wave down. And surprise, surprise, warding going down, a minute and a half to go. So setting up those green wards, setting up the vision around Dragon, and Super Hot Crew are signaling their intent to get ready for the next Dragon pickup, which they've had complete control of. MYM haven't even had a sniff at that Dragon, really.
Teleport available for Mima, which is why he's going along that top lane, while Super Hot Crew set up a pressure for the bottom lane turret. That seems to be the next focus target. There's barrels, you can see, wiping them out. They're going to start taking advantage, starting to overrun the red buff area as well, while Mima shoves the top lane. So right now, Meteor Makers, they are in desperation trouble. They went for that Baron. It worked out. They got the Baron. Unfortunately, they couldn't escape quick enough because there was a rather large doctor in the form of Mundo pushing them out.
Got himself a Randian's Omen now as well. So, you know, immense amount of HP, immense amount of survivability and tankability. And I don't think Charu's magical burst is going to be enough to even make a dent. Right now, Super Hot Crew realizing that Dragon's still a little while away. They're playing the wave game. Mima keeping top wave under control. Does have teleport, like you've already mentioned. And keep a close eye on Moops, because Moops may try to be cheeky, coming from the side, use that cast to knock everybody into a box from Mixer. I think MYM have to be very careful of this. This could become a 5v4 if Super Hot Crew wanted to dive.
Yeah, Kuban would have to use his Dragon's Descent to interrupt. That's the only thing he's got to stop Mima from teleporting. Mima stepping back. They've got to be careful the moment he does that. But Dragon has spawned, which is why Super Hot Crew have all stepped away. Going to keep that Dragon advantage going. It will be 11,000 gold lead once they pick that up. It is a rather large deficit to come back from as they continue to just farm their way to victory.
Yep, Super Hot Crew don't need to take risks right now. They wait for the opportune moment. I think what we'll see them doing is an extended siege, like we have seen out of them in that mid lane already. We've seen them planning out, playing it patiently, playing it softly, and right now, seeing a little bit of an overextended Cubon. He is going to need to back away. Tower's available, and Super Hot Crew just going to pick this one up uncontested.
Yeah, Mima's just going to tank this one out. Kuban realizing the situation, having to step away from it. They are going to come try and chase him for it. Have they got enough damage? Oh, I don't think they have. Ultimate pop from Mima. He's going to turn and fight. Kuban in all sorts of trouble, just not tanking enough. Shockwave lands very nicely, though. Limit getting taken down. Timbers was followed through, but look at that. Another double kill picked up by Mr. Rales. They're going to continue driving through. Chopper being thrown on towards Makata. And again, it is all the Super Hot Crew driving through. Makata taking another barrel. He's having to back away. They may go for the inhibitor turret here.
2 for 1 plus the turret, and even with what seemed to be a good engage from Meteor Makers, they are simply do not have enough damage to make a dent here in Super Hot Crew. MYM chasing through Makler, maybe getting a sniff of moves, maybe getting a sniff of the kill there, but Moves is going to be able to back away thanks to that body slam of his. And, you know, it's just a very desperate situation. If Cubon had maybe had the Shockwave with his descent, Shockwave with his dive, that could have been enough It wasn't to be, and unfortunately for Meteor Makers, they continue to fall behind. 12,000 gold is the difference now. Keeps growing. Couple thousand gold more, couple thousand gold more. They're down 3 towers, they're down about 4 dragons. They do have a Baron to their name, but the buff was lost by 3 of the members very quickly thereafter.
And you got to say, you know, we talked about it at the start, how much a change of player may affect you. 10-0-4, not a bad change, I think.
I think it's a bit of an upgrade.
Yes.
I think you can say that, and that's maybe a little overly harsh because Hadal did play phenomenally well during the spring promotion tournament, but this roster substitution is working in their favor. Right now, though, Mima still playing the split push game. He does have that teleport still available to him. He's now got himself yet another Spectre's Cal, so more MR has been added to his list. Gonna get himself most likely a Banshee's Veil. And I mean, I still think he's unkillable already. With the Banshees on top, I really don't think there's anything that Meteor Makers can do to deal with him. So even if they focus down Moops, even if they focus down Mr. Riles, Mima's just going to play cleanup crew and, you know, help Super Hot Crew get their first victory in this best of 3.
So let's see how this develops. Next in a turret. Doing it by the numbers here. Meteor Makers trying to charge in. They're going aggressive. He's going to tank it through. Makata was the target, but Kuban found himself caught in the middle of really a place that he did not want to be. Both these members can actually tank the turret, don't forget, because it's a Randy Nome with a mixer as well. He's got plenty there. See the defensive ball coming straight in. Didn't want to get caught out with the shockwave.
Yeah, 2 things to keep your eyes on. Just how little defensive stats is sitting with Mokate right now. Spirit of the Ancient Golem and a little bit of HP from Haunting Guys. In comparison to Impaler, who's got his Locket completed, plus that Spectre's Cowl and the Ancient Golem. Now Mokate jumping onto Moops, getting some good poke down. But that's a perfect distraction to allow Mr. Riles to take the tower.
Shockwave catches on Mr. Riles, does get away. Timbers catches on towards him. They're throwing everything they can at Mr. Riles, but he just backs away. Now the life's still working in his favor. That's going to be 1 down. They're going to push on through this one. Mima happily tanking up the turret. Death Sentence comes in. Flash play comes out. They're going to catch the 3 members as well. They did a really good dissonance there, but the damage still coming strong from Super Hot Crew, and Meteor Makers have to back away. They landed every skill shot they could, but it wasn't enough damage.
I've got a sneaky feeling that Charu Shockwave actually cast it on himself, as I think Cubon dived out of range. But unfortunately, with driving the camera, I missed that to the left of the screen. So we'll have to see how it works out. But again, the wombo combo, the burst damage that is required to kill these carries is not there for Meteor Makers. Super Hot Crew are too far ahead. They take their first inhibitor of the game, gonna back away. They've got themselves another massive amount of gold to spend. And just look at the story those gold differences tells. 4,000 gold difference in the top lane, 2,500 in the mid lane. 80 carries, 4,000 gold. That's an Infinity Edge plus more between these 2 different players and champions, and it's too far gone. Right now, Meteor Makers need to just slow this one down. They need to think about what do they do in game 2? How do they prevent this happening? What do they need to change to make sure they don't get knocked out 0-2 and lose that 8th and final spot in the LCS?
And in fairness to Super Hot Crew, just look at the stats, look at the team, look at the kills, the assists, the ratios they have. A perfect performance. Impaler, he's the only one really with the most deaths, of course, because he's using that Assault Battery to get in amongst them. Top lane, Mima, no deaths. Mid lane, Moops, no deaths. AD carry, no deaths. And a 0-1-17 performance. 17! Just one off all of the kills that he has been involved in, Mixer. Fantastic performance from that support player. And really, this is a great start for Super Hot Crew. Meteor Makers are going to have a lot to talk about, probably during this phase right now. While they're waiting, while they're filling the time, they're probably discussing, okay, how are we going to change the strategy up? Because that's really all they can use this time for. They do manage to land a good shockwave. Moops will go down. That's their 6th kill of the game. Could they take down the huge tank of Mima? Of course not. They throw it straight out the lantern.
That's still 2,000 HP. Now they catch Mokate.
They catch on Mokate. Has to flash straight out of it. The box was thrown down from Mima, from Mixer, sorry. But look at this. Mr. Riles is in there now. That's the damage. The culling coming out still doesn't do a great deal to Coupon, despite the fact he's got an infinite jet Trinity Force and Bloodthirster.
It is a fair bit though, and unfortunately it's going to allow that Meteor Makers to stick around. All the damage being focused on Cubon means that Makla, being untouched, can take down the tower. This is their 3rd and final outer tower, and a small rally of support here for Meteor Makers. They're going to keep it up. Impaler with Assault and Battery. He could dive in if he wants to. Let's keep a close eye on him as the hook does not connect, so I don't think Super Hot Crew can defend this one. A good last-ditch effort from Meteor Makers, but they need a little bit more. They need that last oomph if they want to keep this going.
Makla wants to tank the turret. He gets the turret. That's the 4th turret of the game for Meteor Makers. A very good turnaround attack, honestly, from effectively nothing. A simple shockwave landing, getting the kill, gets themselves 2 towers. They could get Dragon as well. Is this a stretch too far?
This could be in trade for Baron, though. They've started Dragon off. Makla decides to peel away, gets a couple of auto attacks left on it. Now Baron has respawned. Well, I think they'll be able to kill this thing before the members of Mecha Makers can even get in range, as I do click Baron. There we go.
At the moment, we are waiting for things to get underway.
Oh,
They're going to try and go in there.
him.
Do not get in there. Instead, they get caught straight out, like you say. Deleted was, in fact, the word. Baron was picked up, and, well, just as there was a breath of hope for Meet Your Makers, Super Hot Crew extinguish it.
Yeah, Meet Your Makers were too late to react. I missed the kill off camera there as Moops just insta-Gibbs Makate did use a full combo, all of his barrels plus Ignite. And now with the 5v4, Super Hot Crew, they're actually going to ignore the inhibitor and put their sights on the Nexus turrets.
And of course, the Super Minions have been doing the work for them. That's going to be the second Nexus turret going down. The Nexus will be the target once Kubon goes down afterwards. He gets dropped down. Shockwave pulls in 3 members. It's not going to be enough, though. The damage is not coming on because Mr. Rales is focusing on the Nexus. It's the Super Hot Crew that close out Game 1 in this best-of-3 series.
The only thing you could criticize from the Super Hot Crew in this matchup is they were a little bit behind in CS in lane. That is the only mistake that they made. And other than that, it was a phenomenal performance. Their ganks were good. Their rotations were good. They responded to map pressure phenomenally well. And it never felt like Meet Your Makers really had any life in them in that mid game.
Fantastic performance from Super Hot Crew, honestly. You just got to look down the stats. You can see 5-1-8. Moops finally died towards the end. Got caught in that shockwave, of course. Mima, though, no deaths for him, of course. 4-0-12. We wondered about the Mundo selection up against Shyvana, but Shyvana, he went for the Blade of the Rune King at start, but it just wasn't tanky enough. And you only look at, all he's got is a Spirit Visage. He had nothing to throw himself in that fight. You know, we saw, looking at the OGN, you saw how Impact was throwing himself in there with that Randy Atomic, catching all the members, slowing them down. That would assist them, especially with an Orianna, that shockwave.
I completely agree. And I feel that not only did they not itemize necessarily as efficiently, you know, that Blade of the Rune King works against Dr. Mundo in 1v1, but he never made it work for him. He never challenged, you know, Mima, never got in Mima's face. And as the game progressed, Meet Your Makers fell further and further behind, and their item choices just didn't assist them in closing that gap. So, as it stands, Super Hot Crew 1-0 up against Meet Your Makers. If they pick up one more win, they will be the 8th and final team to play in the European LCS.
So while we're just waiting for the teams to filter themselves into the picks and bans, of course, we will be getting ready to go shortly. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to take a quick